Welcome to my brand new podcast. You are listening to the things nobody tells you about with Marthy Cherubin. In the spirit of the holiday season, here's a cliff note of the top 12 things I've learned throughout my pregnancy and labor on the 12 days of Christmas. 1. Talk to other women about their experiences of being pregnant and giving birth. If you don't ask, they probably won't tell you. Their experiences may be useful, and it's a good way to prepare yourself for the journey ahead. Also, keep in mind that some women may not want to or may not be willing to talk about their experiences. 2. Speak up and be your own advocate. 3. Stay hydrated and drink lots of water. By a lot, I mean at least 3 liters of water. 4. Be prepared to morph into a ninja turtle. My feet started to grow, my nose spread, I became very forgetful, and I started to snore very, very loudly. 5. Be aware of false labor pains, spotting, hypothyroidism, fibroids, and breech baby. I learned that Braxton Hicks syndrome or symptoms are sporadic contractions and relaxation of the uterine muscle, and they are usually felt around your second or third trimester of pregnancy. They are also referred to as false labor pains. Spotting is defined as light bleeding that happens outside of your regular periods. Hypothyroidism is a condition that is caused by an underactive thyroid gland. It can also be a cause of miscarriage. According to the Mayo Clinic, fibroids, especially uterine fibroids, are non-cancerous growths of the uterus that often appear during childbearing years. Fibroids range in size from seedlings, undetectable by the human eye, to bulky masses that can distort and enlarge the uterus. You can have a single fibroid or multiple ones. In extreme cases, multiple fibroids can expand the uterus so much that it reaches the rib cage and can add weight. Many women have uterine fibroids sometime during their lives, but you might not know you have uterine fibroids because they often have no symptoms. Your doctor may discover fibroids incidentally during a pelvic exam or prenatal ultrasound, which is how my small fibroid was discovered. If fibroids are present during pregnancy, it can sometimes lead to problems with the development of the baby or difficulty during labor. Women with fibroids may experience abdominal pain during pregnancy, and there's a risk of premature labor. Right before birth, most babies are in a head-first position in the mother's uterus. Sometimes the baby is in the bottom first or feet-first position or sideways. This is what they call a breech baby. And if the baby is not turned, a cesarean or a C-section will be scheduled to take the baby out of the womb. 6. Hire a doula if you can afford it, and even if you can't afford it. It's worth it. Trust me. 7. Take care of yourself and stay positive. Overall, despite all of the things that happened throughout my pregnancy, I had a pretty positive experience. And the reason that I did is because I made sure that I stayed positive no matter what. I listened to classical music. I stayed away from toxic people. I stopped listening to the news. I only watch comedies, whether it's a sitcom or a movie. And I tried to listen to my body as much as possible. For example, I found that apples are great for nausea and heartburn. So I would eat 3 to 4 apples a day, especially the first and second trimester, and the nausea and heartburn would go away. And I never really vomited. I only threw up 3 times throughout my whole pregnancy because I ate something despite feeling repulsed by the smell. So whenever I do not like the smell of something, I don't eat it because if I do, it's gonna make me throw up. 8. The mail doesn't always come on time, so be prepared to be induced if you are past your due date. 9. Even when things look seemingly uneventful, they could always take a turn for the worse, so be vigilant. 10. Build an A team if you can, and I pity the fool who doesn't. No, I'm kidding. But do make sure that you have a support person or a team with you when you are going into labor. 11. Whether you are planning to have a natural birth or a cesarean, have a birth plan. And remember, it's still your body, so the decision is always yours to make. 12. Having a supportive and compassionate doctor makes a world of a difference. So, these are the top 12 things that I've learned. I would also like to wish you all a happy holidays from my family to yours. Happy
Happy
holidays,
holidays,
everyone.
Mom.
And to all of my French and Haitian Creole speaking listeners, je vous souhaite un joyeux Noël et une bonne année. At this time, I'd like to encourage all of my listeners to leave a review of this episode and our podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or wherever you're listening to this podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, remember to leave a comment about your pregnancy stories because you might even hear your review and or your stories on the air. So please join us.